Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to prepare a very easy dessert, Panna Cotta. Panna Cotta is a dessert that originated in Italy and it means cooked cream. So it's basically a pudding that we're going to make and it's very easy. And we're going to actually make this more of a composed dish. This is a dessert that we prepared at Suzanne Fine Regional Cuisine. It's really delicious in the springtime. We would make it with rhubarb and strawberries, and in the fall we had the good fortune of having beautiful Concord grapes, so we would serve the panna cotta with gorgeous Concord grapes. So today I'm going to show you the first version that we used to do at our restaurant, which is using rhubarb. We're going to make a rhubarb and ginger soup. So I have here 6.5 cups of sliced rhubarb. When it is in season, which is in the spring, take your rhubarb, you can just cut it up in pieces and you can freeze it like this, and then you'd be able to, or you can even slice it the way I have it here in the bowl, and you'll have some rhubarb for down the road when it's not available, like right now, which is October. We're going to put 6.5 cups of sliced rhubarb in a pot, and we're going to add 1.5 cups of simple syrup. Simple syrup is very easy to make. All you do is take 2 cups of sugar and 1.5 cups of water, put it in a small pot on the stove, bring it to a boil till the sugar dissolves, which only takes about a minute. Once the sugar is dissolved, then just let your simple syrup cool. By the way, you can make this well in advance. This will stay in your refrigerator for a good long time. So I have here 1.5 cups that's going to go into our rhubarb. Now I like to put a little bit of strawberry in there just for color. It helps make the soup look really bright pink, and it's really beautiful, and it also adds a delicious flavor, and you know that strawberry and rhubarb definitely go very well together. So I have about 2 cups of strawberries, and then for flavor we're going to add some fresh ginger. We're going to use anywhere from 1 ounce to 1.5 ounces. I had 2 pieces about this size, and I already have some of it sliced. All I'm going to do is just slice it and put it in with the rhubarb and strawberries. And then we'll put it on the stove and let it cook. I would say it'll take about 15 to 20 minutes. You want to break down and cook the rhubarb and the strawberry and get the beautiful flavor of ginger in here. So that's all. Oh, the ginger smells great. So you're going to get it on the stove, and I would say about medium heat. I have it a little bit higher than medium right now just to get it started, and then I will lower it. And we can start our panna cotta. I have 1 3/4 teaspoons of, and it's a little bit less than 1 package, so you do need to take it out of the package and then measure it. So about 1 3/4 teaspoon of the gelatin will go into 1 tablespoon of cold water, and you're just going to let that bloom. So let it sit for about 5 minutes or so. Just give this a little bit of a stir. So to this pot, I'm going to add 1 1/4 cup of heavy cream. And we need to sweeten it a little bit. So we're going to add a little sugar. We're going to add 7 tablespoons of granulated sugar to the cream. We're going to put about 1/2 of a vanilla bean. And if you can't get vanilla bean, that's perfectly fine. You can still make the panna cotta. You wouldn't add it now, but you can certainly add vanilla extract at the end, but don't add it now. Okay, so I'm going to cut a piece of vanilla bean about this size. Okay, it's about, I don't know, 2.5 inches or so. And so you want to split it open. You just use a smaller knife here. Vanilla bean. Okay, I opened it up, and now you can use the back of your knife to scrape all of the caviar out of there, which is beautiful. And we'll put the pod also in, just to add some wonderful flavor. And let's get this on the stove. Just keep an eye on it. You just really want to get this nice and warm. And in the meantime, there's just one other ingredient that we're going to add to our panna cotta, which is buttermilk. So let me just grab that out of the fridge. I also have a pitcher and a strainer here. So once we mix everything, we will strain it in here just to collect that wonderful vanilla bean that we don't want actually in there. And here is our gelatin. And let me just check our rhubarb, make sure it's cooking nicely. I also have a strainer that once the rhubarb is nicely cooked, we're going to pass it through the strainer, and then you'll have all that wonderful rhubarb soup on the bottom. Okay, let's keep an eye on our cream. And then the next thing we will do is put our gelatin. We'll add the gelatin, and then we will stir in our cold buttermilk. This is 1 3/4 cups of buttermilk, and it's right on, so that's good. That didn't take very long at all. The cream is warm, and certainly warm enough to be able to dissolve our gelatin. Okay, as you can see, it looks just like Jell-O. So we'll just put the gelatin in and stir that until it's completely dissolved. This is completely melted. All right, now we can go ahead and add our buttermilk. Give this a good stir. It smells wonderful. I can smell the sweet cream, but then I can also smell the acidity from the buttermilk. It smells great. Let's just pass this through. Here we go. By the way, if you don't have vanilla bean, you could add a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half of vanilla extract with your buttermilk. You don't want to cook it. Now all we have to do is just pour this, and you don't have to spray them. You don't have to do anything. I think we'll get about 7 out of this recipe. I seem to remember us getting 7 out of it. I put 8 here just in case, but yeah, exactly 7. Okay. Now you just want to put this in your refrigerator, and you can do this overnight. You can do this 2-3 days in advance. It takes a good 3 to 4 hours for this to set up, so you do need to think ahead. I have all of my ingredients here to make our candied nuts. I have 2 nuts here, but we're only going to choose one. These are pistachios or hazelnuts, which are both nuts that are very popular in Italy. The hazelnuts obviously come from the Alba, Piedmont region, where Nutella was invented and is very popular. So these are whole hazelnuts, and here I have you can actually get pistachio nuts now that are already shelled. So 1 cup, and whichever one you happen to really like is the one you should do. I'm going to try it with hazelnuts. I usually make them with the pistachio nuts because they're smaller and it's easier to put in the plate, but I think it might be fun to try some hazelnuts. So I told you about the simple syrup, the 2 cups of sugar and 1 1/2 cups of water. This is what's left from that simple syrup. I already measured out my 1.5 cups for the rhubarb soup, and then we have a little extra, and that's for our nuts. So let's start with 2 tablespoons. What you're looking to do is make sure that your nuts are completely coated with the simple syrup, so that when we add the sugar in the raw will stick to the nut. And that's all there is to making these nuts. You bake them in the oven at 350 degrees, and you want to go in and stir them around every 5 minutes or so. This could take up to about 15 minutes. It may take less. Once you can smell the nut, you know it's done. So I think this is plenty. So 2 tablespoons for 1 cup of nuts is more than enough. And then we will also add 2 tablespoons of the sugar in the raw. Okay, so this is nicely coated. Let's go ahead. I don't know how many I can fit. You want to do it in just one single layer. I do have a little piece of parchment paper down on my tray so that they don't stick. Okay, that's 15 minutes for our rhubarb, and I'm going to take our hazelnuts and go pop it in the oven. I'll be right back. In the meantime, let's finish up our soup. I'm pretty sure this should be in really good shape. It can take about 15 to 20 minutes, so let's take a look. Oh, it smells so good. Yeah, this looks great. Okay, I think this is great. So let's just go ahead. If you hold your rubber spatula in front of the hot liquid, it'll help prevent it from splattering. So just go ahead. And then you can see the soup going through. And you really don't want to press on it, just stir. Not really pressing, because you want to have a beautiful clear soup. If you press and some of the solids start to go through your strainer, then it'll become cloudy, and you don't want that. You want it to have a really nice clear look. Okay, this looks gorgeous. And pour the soup in here. You want to let this cool completely. You really do want to serve this cold. So in the meantime, I can let that drip on its own. I'm sure we'll get a little bit more soup out of that. And it's a beautiful color, nice pink, clear. There, you can see that. It smells so good. Okay. Oh wow. It's great. You can taste the ginger. The rhubarb is definitely the strongest flavor. You can even taste the strawberry. It's really, really nice. Our panna cotta has set up for about 3 hours, so I'm hoping that it is set up and ready to go. So I usually just use a little small offset spatula and just go around the outside. I think it's set up enough, I hope. Okay, and I'm going to put the panna cotta right in the center of the bowl. And there it is. It looks perfect. So I have some fresh fruit. I have strawberries and raspberries, blueberries and blackberries. So I just go around the outside and place some fresh fruit. That looks great. And then these are our beautiful hazelnuts. So they came out really nice. And in that little convection oven that I used, They took about 12 minutes. So anywhere from every 5 minutes, you want to just give them a stir and move them around a little bit. But these came out really good. So I'll put a few hazelnuts. And then we're going to put some of the wonderful rhubarb soup, which you just put around the edge of the panna cotta. If you want a little extra, you can go all the way around depending on how big your bowl is. That looks great. And then we finish it off with a little bit of sorbet, whatever type of sorbet you happen to like. Lemon sorbet would be delicious here. Strawberry, I have raspberry here. This is a Roman raspberry. So I just use a tiny little scooper. I would say about 3 of the raspberry is enough. Usually at the restaurant we would put fresh edible flour in the center. I don't have that, so I think I'm just going to maybe put just a little piece of fruit on top. There we go. And this is our panna cotta. You can see the soup is on the bottom. There you go. And the hazelnuts. Perfect. Okay. So here is our panna cotta with rhubarb soup, fresh fruit, some sorbet, and candied hazelnuts. Bon appetit, everyone. See you again soon. Hope you enjoy it. Take care. Bye now.